Alright, guys. The patch is out and the tournament dropping on the same day as it. That's right. On Frostline, previously Snowpiercer. In the bottom left, we've got SHIN representing Gaming Gladiators. And on the right side, his Proxy Hatch under assault from Creator. That's right, guys. People were saying Proxy Hatch might be a little bit overpowered on this patch because it's 25 minerals cheaper. I remember Trigger going, Pig, do you want to test this? I think this is broken. And I was like, what's broken, Trigger? And he's like, Proxy Hatch in PvZ. Think about it. And I was like, what? And he's like, duh, 25 minerals. And I was like, yes. And he's like, 25 minerals cheaper. And I'm like, that breaks it somehow. Maybe I'm being elitist. I don't know. Or the opposite of an elitist, a man of the people who says, does 25 minerals on a hatchery really change that much? But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think it's pretty much the same reaction as it was before. Maybe there's a very slight difference in it. I think he brought one extra probe, to be fair. So you could argue Proxy Hatch is a little bit better than it was before the patch. And little details do matter in StarCraft. I don't think broken, but definitely did force a pretty big response. So probe there for Creator on the other side now. I know Scarlet used to say probes are for mining minerals. And she used to scoff at that response of pulling probes and be like, you know, you can just Chrono Adepts off 2-gate and like go double gas and take a Stargate, and you can Oracle Adept harass against the Zerg who has no queens at home, right? And I was always like, I don't know, because the Koreans have always tended towards this response of pulling probes, and I'm pretty sure in Scarlet's brain, as well as a bunch of other players, like I think the Zergs who believe that's the worst response basically put this down to, thank God Protoss players are idiots, right? And I think the Protoss players are like, thank God Zerg don't realize that, you know, how to execute their own builds correctly. I think it's one of those things, there's a little bit of factionalism, you know, between them. Stalker does come out into a Twilight Council. Twilight Council can be good on this map. You can see that third base spread very far away. Got to make sure you build your Roach Warren Evo Chamber and your wall off so you can full wall against Glaive Adepts on this map. Should cancel. Nice cancel. Now, the Robo does come down. Question is, are we pulling off gas? Answer is yes, and that tells us Creator is optimizing minerals over gas, which means we're going Resonating Glaives rather than Dark Templar. Going to try and get that natural saturated a little bit, get up to 4 gateways, and I think it's after you build the 4th gateway that you put back on gas, but I could be wrong on that. We'll see exactly how hard Creator commits. 3rd gateway goes down, 150 minerals for the 4th gateway. 4th gateway gets placed, and oh, this Overlord not placed correctly. Oh, SHIN! SHIN? Dude, what's with this pillar? What's going on? How the hell? What? SHIN's like, what is this BS, man? Oh, but it's bait. It's bait. It's bait. 15 Zerglings running. Oh, gets an Adept. The other Adept is well positioned. And with the Shade, gets to safety. Just barely, but no, the Adept behind it is not in the right position. Creator straight to town. Luckily, he doesn't lose many probes. Handled that pretty well. That could have been a lot worse. SHIN does see what's going on, but damn, dog. That was crazy. Chat saying game bugged. I'm pretty sure you are meant to be able to hide on that pillar. I just think you need to like be placed just right. So it might be like a slightly narrower ledge than on some other maps. Now, I do know the map makers have said things like, hey, we gave, you know, the Balance Council and the people putting the map together, we gave ESL and everyone the most up-to-date versions of the maps. But then every time a patch comes out, it's not the most up-to-date version of the map with all the different little bug fixes and quality of life features. So I know the map makers are pretty much permanently up in arms because they volunteer a lot of time and don't feel that their best work gets put forward. But I don't think that was a huge issue either way. I'm sure it was just a bit of misplacement for SHIN. We've got 6 Queens, 12 Zerglings. Few Roaches are building, but only the first few building just now. Queens do not have Transfuse available. And honestly, you can commit to that Shade. You can take that fight. Oh, it's a lot of Lings, though. That is a lot of Zerglings. Probably better to have cancelled that Shade. Good call there for Creator. Now, Creator is the 3rd base down south coming up. SHIN, still on Hatchery Tech, massing Lings, now making Ravages. Only a single Spore Crawler in the main. Dark Templar follow-up would potentially straight up win against this build. But I think because he got the full scout off, SHIN feels like he can gamble on this just being an Adept into 3rd base. Now, has SHIN actually seen the 3rd? He hasn't.
Your creep tumor's under attack.
Your creep tumor is under attack. That's so funny, man. Australia and SHIN, the most high testosterone gamers in the world, both using the Diva voice pack. Right, Prism's going to take a fair bit of damage. It's a lot of Ling Ravager, man. He starts the lair. Honestly, I think he starts the lair just to make it look like he starts the lair. But no, SHIN's actually droning. I thought SHIN was going to go all in. but he's actually droning. A lot of players, if they make this much Ling Ravager, they always go for an attack. Like Dark would probably go for an attack right now, but Shin deciding to chill. He's just kind of, he's hoping that Creator oversteps and makes a bad decision. He's not though, and he's like, you know what, I'll drone back up, that's fine. Yeah, I've built a lot of units. Better to build too much than too few. I think too often non-Korean players get in a mindset of, if I'm playing PvZ, I need to make sure that I, you know, don't fall behind in workers. Whereas a lot of Korean Zergs will say, I need to make sure I don't die. So the Korean Zergs, you know, might fall behind in the longer game. But the non-Korean Zergs just die a lot more often than the Korean Zergs do, because we're trying to be too greedy. We're skimping on our defense and dying to just the immediate Roach Ling push. Korean Zergs don't die to the Roach Ling push. They might die at 12, 13 minutes to Immortal Archon, though. Adept Stalker Sentries coming forward. Second Robo and a Robo Bait's going to be Colossus timing. So this is kind of a fake pressure for Creator, just trying to like get some mistakes out of his opponent while he goes into that Colossus tech. Immortal Stalker in the wall there. Stalker and Battery in the third. Third base is the easy target for those Lings. Phoenix comes in, sees that there is a lair finished. Doesn't see too much else. 58 workers only for Shin. Shin is on about 1 billion Ravagers and Lings. An army which right now is amazing, but will be very bad in time. Oh, saves the Battery. Creator. Slick moves there. Going to take out a fair few Zerglings. Now, if you can get 2 Colossus out, it will ravage this army so hard. I mean, this is such an all-in army for Shin. It's about to hit its expiry date when the second Colossus hits the field. But he sees it. He sees the Robo. He knows it's double Robo. I mean, if I were him, I'd just go right now. I think he's going to take the risk on it. Because it's like, well, if you don't attack now, man, you're too far behind in workers. You have to make something happen. You have to do it soon. Force fields do come down for Creator. They buy himself a few seconds. He's got a Colossus, but only one. He had 2 Colossus and a few more Gateway units. I can imagine him making some magic happen. Creator desperately trying to survive. The Lings are getting toasted. That Immortal gets left out up to the top left. Colossus trying to fall back, picking up and dropping. The cannon helping out a lot as well. The Stalker's microing. So many Zerglings have died. And I think this might actually just barely be a hold for Creator. Hanging on at a crucial moment. Still up 7 workers. Hasn't taken any significant worker losses here. Another Colossus comes out. Colossus may not be that high damage against Roaches. But they wreck Zerglings. And they can definitely just shave these units down little by little. And anytime you try to dive, remember, he's got that Warp Prism. Yes, the Stalkers are a little exposed. But that's such an expensive dive for Shin. And I would say that pretty much ends the game. Creator with fantastic defense. Sorry, guys. We had double sound there. My bad. Apologies. If you're watching on YouTube, you guys didn't have that. You guys just get me popping in and out. I was showing everyone the Banana Man theme song because we have a mostly American audience here. None of them knew what Banana Man was. And I had to share the beauty of it. My British and Australian people who were watching cartoons 30 years ago as little kids will remember the glory of Banana Man. What I like about Banana Man is it's a cartoon from, I believe, the 80s that looks like it was made in the 50s. You know, maybe it was in the 50s and Australia was just still getting reruns of 30-year-old cartoons when I was a little kid, which I wouldn't be surprised by. For those that don't know, you look at Australia back in the days, we used to get movies. You'd be like, there's this new movie called The Matrix. And you're like, oh, yeah? Cool. When's it coming out? Like 2003. And you're like, your American friends like, that came out 4 years ago. And you're like, no, not in Australia, it didn't. Now, to be fair, I'm joking. The Matrix, I think around the late 90s is when we started actually getting movies at the same time as the rest of the world. But like, I remember even in the mid 90s, it was like, it's 1996 and they're just releasing Lethal Weapon 2 or something. You're like, that came out in 87. You're like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, it was weird. They're just like, I'm like, why can we not get movies? They'd just be like, well, there's no one that lives in Australia. It's a bit of a hole. We can make sure the movie does well elsewhere before we try to make money off it in Australia. No, I'm pretty sure The Matrix came out at the right time. I was exaggerating. I was just using a more recent example that came to mind. But yeah, you look at like release dates of a lot of movies in like the 70s and 80s, and there's a lot of movies that came out like a year, 2, 3 years later. You're always like, what the hell, man? Oh! Those Biles! I mean, Shin's in a bad spot, guys, but if your opponent walks into Corrosive Bile, 8 sentries have died this game. What the heck, man? It's a big timing push. I mean, Creator is kind of putting himself all in by not adding to this army and being so force field reliant. I mean, he has a 4th base, but it's like, if he just swaps to Storm, Immortals, and Archons from here, I don't think there's any way to lose, especially to Shin, because Shin doesn't know what a hive is, guys. When Shin makes a hive, it's the same thing as a normal player typing GG in the game. If Shin makes a hive against Protoss specifically, like he's a lair tech guy, he tries to kill you in the early and mid game. He is not a hive tech guy. If he makes a hive, it's just to make adrenal glands and a viper. He's not in a good spot. So Creator's strategy does not play to his strengths as a late game expert against Shin's strengths, a mid game, early game expert. If there's any chance of him getting back into this game, it's you overcommitting to this push. I don't mind him cleaning up creep, controlling the map, but I would love to see Creator take these gases and swap into Archons, Immortals, shield upgrades, Storm, all the good stuff. Here we go, guys. Stalker's trying to pull back Sentries and Colossus as well. Stalker's getting boomed over there. These units. Ooh. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. Sentry's getting blown up. Ow. Okay, Colossus getting pulled back. Colossus getting pulled back. Ow. Ooh. Ooh, 3 Colossus go down. Oh my gosh. Dude, Shin, you wizard. Is it enough, though? Is it enough? He's got to clean these Stalkers up as well. That one Colossus on the right side is doing a lot. Apologies. I know my commentary there was basically me just making a lot of noises, but still warping in pure Stalker, which, I mean, they're not bad units. If he traps all these roaches, this might pay off for Creator. And it does. It does. Always a bit dicey when you stay on Stalker Colossus that long. But Creator with his really good defense earlier, honestly, that hold on this base, there was so much Ling Ravager when he was first defending that attack. Really well played for Creator. Alright, guys. We've got Shin in the bottom right side on Neon Violet Square. That's right, these new maps. This is actually an ancient map from about 2018, I believe. And it is a fun map. He's going out to the gold base out here. So check out, look how far this is from his main, guys. That's a long path. Not only that, as Creator goes to check the back base, which is only 4 minerals, 2 gases. So you get a very safe, free expansion in the back. This one here, check it out, guys. You've also got over here, what did I call this earlier? A cyber forest? Basically, these things, you can't move on these. So this is what some people in chat were saying. This is the Zerglings lose every fight in this area because you can't surround anything in here. So, like, if you have Blink Stalkers fighting you here, Zerglings are going to have a bad time. This is a rough map for Zerg in these areas, but using the gold base, utilizing some of the other features, it's going to be really fun to see what Shin can pull off with this early gold base. Link speed's on the way right now. We've got Adepts getting pumped out. Here's a Zealot queued up after the Adept, guys. That's got to be a misclick, right? Is he actually... What? There's no way that's meant to be... That's got to be a misclick. My boy's accidentally building a Zealot? Oh, he is saving gas. Maybe this is on purpose. Oh, this is on purpose to defend any Lings that run in. So he didn't want to delay his Stargate, but he wanted to make it look like he was building another unit. He cancels the Zealot, makes a Stalker, cancels the Stalker, makes... No, he didn't cancel the Stalker, just the graphic bugged out. Okay, guys, the Adept arrives on the other side of the map. Queen does push it away. 7 drones on the gold right now. 3rd hatchery is building. What is happening in this game, man? Gold base first for Shin. And Creator, do we just take the free 3rd in the back and play super safe? You can do that. It's totally valid. Because, you know, Shin has to build a few extra Zerglings than normal to protect this gold base. He's also losing a lot of mining time each time he transfers workers out there. You can just feint a bit of aggression, you know, kind of fake him out a little bit, make him a little bit worried, and actually just macro hard. Second gateway, though, to not quite finish the wall. That's a diagonal wall off, that is. That cyber core should have been up one space. It's a bit exposed, this wall off. So he builds another pylon to thicken the choke point because he's worried about Shin Ling flooding. Already 12 Lings on the map. Oracle's out, second one on the way. He's hiding his Oracles, which is interesting. And look at that. Oh, he can't wall off here. You can't wall off here, mate. You need 2 buildings to wall that off. Cancel the shade. Cancel the shade. Okay, he's going to just pull back to the secondary choke point. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Oh, okay, it's fine. The Oracle arrives. He does have to show the Oracle. That wall off positioning. Ooh, scary moment there. He's going to take the front 3rd. Okay, so Creator doesn't want the crappy 3rd. He wants the full 8 minerals. Fair call, fair call. And it looks like Shin just droning up spores, queens, super chilled out and relaxed play. Remember, these are the new 300 hit point spore crawlers. Easy to snipe, but they do a lot more damage. Can't wait to see people starting to go like heavy Oracle Banshee and just kill the spores. They're like, you know what? You guys thought the hit point difference didn't matter because no one focuses spores down. We're going to just overwhelm spore crawlers now because Zerg anti-air sucks. Creator did win that first game, by the way, so let's get that scoreboard up to date. Sorry about that. Yeah, spores are still 20 damage as far as I can tell, guys. But they did have the lurker hit point change not in the final notes, so I'm not sure if that's changed on purpose or not. Very confusing. Okay, oracles. Ooh, hello. Ow. Yeah. Oh, no, Shin, stop. Stop sending your drones back in range. Oh my god, this pro gamer thing where they have to keep... Just click them away. Oh my god. Is he baiting the oracles on purpose, or is this Shin just making his life as hard as it could possibly be? What he was doing there, guys, is he's selecting the workers, clicking on the minerals. They go there, they're like, well, there's already someone mining here. So they immediately try to go back to mine here, but the oracles were there the whole time. So he grabs them, clicks them here again, grabs them, clicks them here again, grabs them, clicks them here again. It was either genius baiting or him just making his life as hard as possible. He only ended up losing 2 drones, but if it was just a little bit more sloppy, he could have lost a lot of workers there. So well played by Shin, but it was a dangerous play. It was a high risk play. Chat saying he needed to burn some APM. Now we've got cannons and batteries coming up here. But you know what, guys? This is not an all-in. So I feel like Creator's playing maybe a little overly safe right now. He's only on 2 gateways and he's massing cannon battery. 2 batteries, 2 cannons off 2 gates is really bad, guys. Really bad. Because Creator's so paranoid, he's just given up momentum in this game. Shin should be able to run away with this. Shin is at 69 workers against 58 with a gold base, with a 4th up. I don't know what it is that scared Creator so much, but he saw something that made him afraid, and now he's freaking out. Maybe he saw a roach popping out. I know he saw the roach warren. Maybe seeing no lair scared him, right? But of course, that's because the lair is on the natural over here. Hydroden now coming in as well. Shin's going to go for a roach hydra all in. It's not my favorite build, especially this ramp is not amazing to push up. Storms could be decent on this map. The robo units would probably be the best. Oracles grab 5 workers, 6 workers, well worth taking damage on that Oracle. Creator keeping him in check. And he goes for the 4th base just for the double gas and the 4 minerals. Safe 4th base. Really good move. So the problem that's going to happen, guys, is Shin is going to A-move him with Roach Hydra, and Creator's going to die. Now remember, Creator already panicked earlier, built cannon battery for no reason. Didn't do massive damage. Yes, he's killed 8 drones, but that, of course, is against a gold base. And he went 4 oracles. If you go 4 oracles, you only kill 8 drones. It's not a big value. Now, he obviously could spam stasis traps, but it's not going to matter if Shin doesn't walk into them. As long as Shin has an overseer with his Roach Hydra, he can just A-move. He's going to have such a supply advantage. Now, oracles go down there. 2 oracles for 7 drones. It's an okay move. And there is a lot of drones here, so it feels like Shin has a lot of economy, but we, of course, know Shin's natural and his main are both barely saturated, slightly under. This base has gold minerals, which means it doesn't have that many workers on it. Shin on 65 workers, preparing a giant all-in. Second Robo Bay, +2. The problem is there's no army. You've got 4 bases, a few cannons and batteries, 2 oracles, and nothing that actually kills stuff. Creator does not have the damage. It does not matter how you micro. If you have no damage output, you just can't win this. A few stasis traps and 15 stalkers will not defend this army. Nice stasis trap, to be fair. If Creator can make this even look close, I will be staggeringly impressed. Hydras, so many of them. They don't have +1 range yet, or muscular augments, but they will have those upgrades soon. Roach Hydra coming in, looking for the angle. No Overseer with this army, which means more stasis traps could cause problems. Oracles turning on their lasers against Hydras, never a good move there. Better off to do the stasis traps in the back. Stalker's trying to blink away. Few probes have maybe gone down in this base. The Stalker Immortal fighting as best they can. Creator's micro is so good, man. His defensive positioning is amazing. But Shin has the advantage. Creator knows he just doesn't have the damage output, doesn't have the numbers there. He kept seeing so many drones on the 4th base, so he was like, oh, you're playing economy. You're playing economy. I need to go double Robo Disruptor while taking the 4th base gases in the back. Little did he realize it's just a Roach Hydra all in, and of course he gets overrun. Ooh, guys, we got ourselves a 15 hatchery here for Shin in game 3. And he's going to go for another extractor trick. So a standard 15-15 opening. He should build an Overlord now. Yep. Standard 15-15 on Whispers of Gold. Creator in the top left. But yeah, I really think, don't get me wrong, the gold base seemed to give Shin a pretty good little edge in that last game. But I think, in general, Shin seemed to misread what was going on pretty badly. I know there's a few Protoss players complaining in the chat. I know, yeah, don't get me wrong. Gold bases do tend to favor Zerg over Protoss. That's a thing. But he did go 4 base, +2, 4 oracles, multiple cannons and batteries before taking a 3rd gateway into double Robo Disruptor. Wasn't using his gateways constantly. It was a complete misread, right? So I'm not saying, oh, Protoss is fair, and I really think they should have nerfed the Disruptor and the Immortal. I think the Disruptor and the Immortal shouldn't have been nerfed. I'm with you guys on that. I also think the whole Spore Crawler change is kind of crazy because, yes, Queens are a bit more expensive, but it is such an increase in the damage that it's so hard for me to weigh up how the openings are going to go. Like, for me, when I play PvZ now, I spam Stasis Traps. But I don't think Stasis Trap spam is particularly good at the top level. So I'm really wondering what happens when you've got, like, a Serral or a Reyna in there. If you Oracle Harass, I mean, to be fair, those guys were so good at defending Oracle Harass already. But it's even more so. Like, nowadays, the Spores are just a no-go zone. So it is something to factor in. Like, you know, that's a pretty big change. Now, I personally have been desperately trying to get Zergs to practice the patch. And I haven't been able to get any other than Shin, who plays tournaments. And who's the other one, guys? Dark. Dark plays a few tournaments as well. None of the... Unfortunately, during the off-season, we haven't had too many people playing, so I haven't had any examples to point to of this. Now, it looks like that Zealot is on purpose to make it look like he's queued up another unit. So he doesn't want there to be a gap in the lights on the gateway, I guess. Then he cancels it and does just make a Stalker. Same build as last time. Solar's played a couple of games, but not too many by the looks of it. I've seen Solar in a few tournaments, but a lot of times he signs up and then no shows or whatever, or is a bit too busy. So it's going to be interesting, man. But yeah, I mean, that last game is always going to be an extreme example because of how much he misread it, right? Completely misread what was happening whilst being on the back foot a bit. Shin also went for the biggest all-in there is. Basic Roach Hydra. No idea it was coming. You know what would be interesting is, like, if the game started a bit slower and there was a bit more strategic diversity, would be really interesting. Because then, like, you'd maybe have more time to, like, scout that all in and then do a big reaction to it or something. I don't know. Just kidding, guys. It's fine. No. I mean, if you guys want to talk about 12 workers, you can. But just having a bit of fun there with people who I know will be triggered by me bringing it up. Probe's coming over to take that third base. Alright, that's a nice quick third, 350. And it looks like you can see Shin here just rallying back onto gas with his first lava injective drones as they pop out. Nicely done. Very standard play on both sides. Spore Crawler in the natural. Now that's interesting. Spore Crawler in the main and the natural. I guess he's just going to keep 3 queens on the third from about 4 minutes here when he starts saturating this base. And pretty good ring of Overlord vision as well. Queens are ready. Here comes a new challenger. Thank you, Diva. Very useful voice lines as always. 2 gateways. Second one coming up. Queen there. Oh, Oracle, get out, get out, get out. Oh, gets a drone. It's a nice first drone harass. Gets a creep tumor. Gets a drone. Gonna maybe grab a Zergling or 2 as well. Not bad at all. Takes very little damage. Well worth. Not really using the energy ability early on. The reason Stasis Trap is more effective now is because you can load an Oracle up with energy and start spamming those, but they're going to work best on the back of the natural and the main, and with good Overlord placement here, it's very rare you'll catch Shin not looking at that sort of stuff. Chat says we need 16 workers, a Nexus, a Cybercore, 2 gateways, a Robo, a Twilight, and a Forge at the start to make the game better. Yeah. Chat saying Zerg can easily take accessible golds as third bases. Protoss and Terran usually can't because they would be exposed to Ling Floods. It's interesting because I actually think the gold as the natural is often the really big threat, right? Because it just kicks in so early. I actually feel that's the scarier build. That's the one where you really need to respond straight away. Gold as a third can be very powerful as well. It's usually a bit more exposed though. This is a lot of non-glaive adepts, guys. We've got 9 adepts coming forwards, 2 oracles with them. Queens, Roach, Ravagers, Zerglings. Only 2 Ravagers ready. Gonna throw those biles just to kind of zone. Ravagers have good range, good movement speed. Probably want to make one more Ravager here, does Shin, but it is a little supply blocked right now. Building a 4th hatchery already. Interesting to see. Fortune Twilight coming up, 3rd and 4th gas. Single battery goes down in the 3rd. This time Creator looks more confident. Going straight 6 gas off very few units, just these adepts from left over. And he's going to go charge, +1, Immortal Production, Templar Archives, and a Gateway Explosion. Up to 5 gateways to start. No doubt there'll be 3 more gateways in the near future as well. I think Creator's much more in line. And this is going to be really interesting, because what do we know about ZVP, guys? Remember that ZVP generally before this patch, I think was pretty balanced, right? You could have your own arguments, this thing's too strong, that thing's too weak, and so on, but like generally, pretty balanced matchup. And I think the one thing that I really feel is that it's quite Protoss favored in the late game at the moment, but Protoss is so fragile in the mid game. And that's where the dichotomy is, where you'll have Zergs and Protoss who both complain really hard because they both feel like they can't win at a certain stage of the game. So that's whenever you have a matchup where like each race has a clear advantage at a different point, everyone has their own kind of reason to whine, right? And it's going to be interesting to kind of see how players address this. Like, you know, does Protoss just try to survive to the late game? We'll see what happens. I think Creator will always beat SHIN in the late game if he gets there. But for any Protoss, getting to the late game against SHIN is difficult. Observer goes down, loses a Zealot. Oracle coming down that left side as well. Going to try and clear a little bit of creep spread. Very nice. Oracle's getting some nice zappies off before pulling away. Overseer will get shot down by the single Phoenix. And it is now double Robo Immortal, guys. Double Robo Immortal makes me happy. Pumping from the natural, a pretty safe area. Very nice to see. Fourth base coming up on that right side. Cannons and batteries as well. Storm, cannons, batteries, adepts. Dude, Creator is such a European, I swear. The way he plays is so virgin, but he does it so well. Like, he's got every tool. He's got the guys for stasis trap spam. He's got the guy for guardian shield / force field / hallucination. He's got the stormy boys. He's got the Archon. He's got the double Robo Immortal. He's got static on every single base. Like, it just feels like he's always so well, you know, covered in every single area. The problem is, sometimes when you try to cover yourself in every single area, you don't have like a clear competitive advantage, right? A clear, simple, obvious thing to lean into. So basically it means like Creator has to get through this middle stage of fragility until he maxes out a little bit later. Big, you can check if the lurkers have less hit points. That's a good point. This is on Korea, guys. I imagine these are still going to have 200 hit points. I have to ask people in the Balance Council, did they mean to remove the lurker hit point nerf? Because they were meant to go down to 190 from 200 hit points, so disruptors could still two-shot them. If they got rid of that and kept the disruptor damage low, I will be mad. But it's down to 190. It is down to 190. So I think when they updated the maps, they might have actually fixed that. Because the patch came out today, guys, and this wasn't in the game. And the cyclones were bugged, so they would break. I think what happened is they pressed one button, and then the intern had to sneak back in to press the other button. It looks like the patch is fully live now. We just need to test the cyclone. If someone can go in, live version of the game, no mods, test the cyclone and see, does it have the 15 leash range or the 9, the much shorter where it was bugged? That will confirm, because that was the one other big thing that people were struggling. And Fat Ultralisks should also be in the game. Yes. Oh, look at this lurker positioning. Dude, give up the base, Creator. Get out. Get out. Creator, don't do this. Creator, you don't know. Creator, just give up the base, dude. Zealot counterattack coming in, but the roaches are on top of it. Really good roach positioning. You just have to give this base up. Creator's being stubborn. He's got to just run these probes away. He cannot defend that base. He maybe could come around the south, clean up these lurkers, and then wrap it up from the flank. Prism does survive in the bottom. Broach is doing a fantastic job. He's got to give this base up, though, surely. Nice revelation. Good pullback for SHIN, though. SHIN's going to shuffle these lurkers in range. He's like, okay, dude, if you're not going to break this, I got to kill this. 3 carriers are building. Creator going to run his probes away. Good evacuation. I thought he was going to lose all of his probes and his army. But instead, he's biding his time. Controlling space. Archon's taking a lot of damage. Oh, a storm on those would be big. That's a lot of lurkers that he's killed and damaged now. So many lurkers and hydras taking big storm damage. And guys, remember, SHIN is not a late game player. Yes, he's got a second Evo chamber for once. He's making carapace upgrades. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to win, and he wants to win fast. He's putting 8 more drones. Very un-SHIN-like. But Creator, if he gets out of position, he's going to lose the new 4th base. Oh, Stasis Trap comes in. Not quite able to do what it needs to. That Nexus is in trouble. Lurker's a little far forward. Stasis Trap kind of going to block the Protoss there. That's actually a nice position. Now, Creator, I think, should be fine. Because he's got carriers, he's got immortals, he's got air weapons and shields on the way. And it's SHIN. SHIN's just not that good at this stage of this game. Zealots coming in, start taking these buildings out. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys hear me hate. I'm sure there's a SHIN fan, but I'm not hating on SHIN. I've just seen him fall off a cliff, usually at Hive Tech, right? He has like a few good lurker timings, a few good Nidus all-ins off the lurkers, but like the longer it goes, generally speaking, the less comfortable he is and the more he's trying to catch you out with one big surprise play. That's going to favor Creator, who is the calmer player. Well, I say the calm. He's the better long-term macro player, but let's be real. He's anything but calm. Creator gets tilted more than anything. Creator is one of the most tiltable players in the entire world. When you look at Creator, I mean, you might think you're looking at friggin' Phil Hellmuth, you know? Like, Creator is probably the Phil Hellmuth of StarCraft, you know, minus being a multiple world champion. Massive lurker push, guys. Creator's got to really set this push up, but he's lost all of his high temp out of the lurkers. He has no storms available, and he's just getting worn down here. And I'm really surprised that he let Shin take this position. He was too worried about Shin rotating over to his fourth base, and Shin is just kind of pushed in the middle, and Creator not quite holding the middle the way he needed to. Carrier's going to come forward. Phoenix there randomly as well. It will go down. Now the carriers, when they're fighting Hydras like this, they can try to actually engage Oracles. You do not want to throw your Oracles away engaging Hydras ever. No! That's your only detection. Now the Lurkers, you've got no way of cleaning them up once these Revelations wear out. Not to mention, I mean, dude, the Hydras there, they use their Nanomascular Thrust, and they do jump on top, taking out one of the carriers. Very nice there. Dude, I really thought, you know, Shin would not hold a candle to Creator in the late game, but Creator got out-positioned a few times there, went into the carriers, didn't quite have the upgrades for them yet. No +1 air weapons against +1 carapace, +2 Hydras. And, of course, his Immortal and Storm not able to hold the space as well as he needed to. Great decisiveness for Shin, just shoving up the middle and catching him off guard. Got one High Templar with a Storm, guarding his carriers. Third base goes down, fourth base up to the right. Desperate counter-attack here. Shin not really building anything right now. Could build some units to try and defend at home, but he's got some spines that will help out. Carriers coming in. No way of seeing where those lurkers are. Probes hiding up north. Drops a High Templar, loses the Prism. And that's going to be a big issue. Carriers trying to launch these Interceptors on the Hydras, on the Roaches. If you can keep the Interceptors launched, you should be able to clean up the Hydras. But of course, the Lurkers say, hey, if you're going to hunt down my Hydras, we're going to run left and distract you a little bit. A lot of Hydras go down. Meanwhile, Immortals on the other side struggling to die. These Zealots and Immortals still not dead. Looks like the Lurkers will come home. There are carriers chasing him. If Creator wins this game... No. 9 Corruptors are out. 6 more building. No air weapon upgrades for either side. Lurker's going to counterattack. And it's how many carriers? 9 carriers against 9 Corruptors. Do not fight with your Corruptors until you have more units. Shin supply blocked. Shin supply blocked, guys. Shin does have a few Hydras that could help out, but oh my god, Hydras and Corruptors popping and dying! Oh no, dude, if you lose to like 7 carriers with 0-0, this would be so... No, Shin. Shin, don't throw this game, son. Son, Dad will hug you for once. I'll tell you I love you. I'll tell you I'm proud. Just don't throw this game. Zerg players will whine for the next 6 years if you lose this game. There will be a Bronze League player in my chat talking about carriers for the next 6 weeks. Every day posting about how the carrier needs to get nerfed. Please, Shin. He's gathering his Corruptors, guys. There's 6 more Corruptors building. He can give up all these bases. He can just straight base trade and win that way. He doesn't even need to fight the army. But the carriers are scaring him since he's just got so much supply in drones. You know? It's all in drones and lurkers and things that don't shoot up. Carrier's going to try to recall. As long as you click that Nexus, it should still die, but he's not going to click it. Dude, watch Creator stay in this game for another 14 minutes trying to drag this out. The drones are like, oh wait, you're on this side of the map now. We better go home. 76 workers for Shin. Does he still have a Spire? Yes, he does. He can just keep building Corruptors. Should probably try to make air armor or something, but I think he figures the game-deciding fight will be soon enough. Oracle's about to come out. Look at that. Creator. I knew Creator would go back to mining. Not just that. Watch him build a probe, guys. He's going to start building a probes in the Nexus. Creator, my boy. My boy. You know he's going to build a Nexus. Watch him. Watch him build a Nexus, guys. Watch him build a Nexus. No, don't just bring it with the carriers. Oh, he's just preparing to base trade. Lame. Oh, he lost the probe. He was telling it to follow the carriers so he could throw down like a building reactively if he was about to lose his main. Creator didn't hear no... I didn't hear no bell. To be fair, he is going to get completely one-sidedly clicked by Shin. Shin could click on him right now, but he's just waiting until he's a little more engorged with his corrupt account before he can get up on it. And now we're going to watch Shin go for it, guys. I can hear the Flight of the Valkyries playing. And here go the Corruptors. It's time! And... oh, he doesn't quite have enough to one-shot a carrier. Oh, he doesn't quite have enough to one-shot. But that's alright. He splits up his fire a little bit. Starts to take him down. And the Corruptors will absolutely smash it. Shin there, man. Getting in. As I said, Creator builds all the different tools, but he doesn't commit to any one thing, and he leaves himself fragile. I don't think he needed to go carriers in this game, personally. I do think if he just had more Immortal Storm, he could have probably pushed back those Lurker pushes. I've heard people say that's not the case. Good Lurker positioning. Mass Lurker will always beat Immortal Storm. I disagree, but you guys can argue with me in the comments. Pro gamers have argued with me about that a bit. I think it's a reasonably even match that only swaps in the Lurker's favor in choke points and stuff. And I think this map, there's enough avenues around. We're having, you know, a split up Immortal Storm army in 2 groups. You can kind of dominate the map and make it really hard for Zerg to even defend a 5th base. And then go to carriers, or even Tempest would be better just a little bit later. But GG, well played, great win for Shin, gets through Creator.